Hey guys, Nick Horton here, the Iron Samurai, and this is another episode of Samurai Strength, weightlifting for smart people. In this episode, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Rather than answer some questions, instead I'm going to tell you a story. And it's a very personal story. It's one I haven't really talked about much. I certainly haven't talked about it online. But it's important. It does, in fact, directly relate to you. The very fact that you're watching this video and have any affiliation whatsoever with the Weightlifting Academy organization means that it affects you. And so I do think it's important on that alone, but there's also some lessons embedded here, and they're not really the lessons you'd think. There's some hidden lessons that I think are more important that took me a little while to really come to terms with, and I think it's time to really talk about that. I'm just going to dive right in. So one night, it was an important night, I sat down with Aaron Steiner and Trevor Smith and a few others. Aaron specifically asked me a very important question. He was my assistant coach back at PDX Weightlifting, and he's now the head coach of Vulcan Weightlifting in Portland, Oregon, along with Trevor. And they are kicking ass, man. They're doing really good. They had a couple people this year qualify for nationals, and it's just doing real good. Well, back in the day, back when this happened, they sat me down because they knew I had hit a wall. I had not quite hit rock bottom. That was going to take another couple months, but I had come real close. And Aaron asked me a question, and the question's going to make a whole lot of sense when I explain more. The question was this. He said, "Nick, at what point do you quit and get another job?" And the reason he asked me that is because 6 months previous to him asking me that, I had completely run out of money. I mean, I had nothing left. I was literally faced with this exact choice. I could either pay for my apartment, or I could pay to keep the gym open. And that was easy for me. I paid to keep the gym open. What happened after that was that I ended up spending quite a lot of nights sleeping in the gym. I spent nights sleeping in the park, and as bad as that sounds, it actually wasn't that bad. It was the summertime. Laurelhurst Park in Portland, Oregon is not that bad, as parks go, and Portland's a pretty safe city, so I know it sounds like pretty shitty, but it wasn't as bad as it sounds like it is. My brother stepped up, and to keep me from being a homeless man, he let me stay with him rent-free. And while he didn't have a bed, he did in fact have a spare room with a pad on the floor, and I slept on that it took about 8 months there. And every single dollar that I made, I put back into the gym and into the business itself. Into the whole organization that has grown into what now you know as Weightlifting Academy. I had spent time talking to lawyers about bankruptcy. That was a very real option, except that the reason I didn't take it was because I'd have to give up all the assets that have led to what we have. So it was better for me to just take the personal losses and let the organization keep going than the other way around. And that was basically the way things went. I had about enough money every day to eat one meal a day. I got ridiculously skinny. I didn't train for 9 months straight. That wasn't really an option. And I just worked constantly. I woke up very early in the morning. Couldn't really sleep. Way too anxious for that. And I just worked and worked in order to make money. Any money at all in order to keep the whole thing going. But not in a way that was going to tank the future of what it is I was trying to do. And that's the part that was kind of crazy, I think, is that the truth is that I have a math degree, right? I could totally have found ways to make money that would have been fine. I would just have to have given up on what it is I was doing. And that's kind of what the question came down to, right? Like, at what point do you give up and get another job? In other words, what point do I just dump the gym? Dump this whole weightlifting thing. Dump this whole coaching crap and go make some money. Why in the fuck am I still doing this when I don't have a place to live? I can't afford food. I can't do shit. I'm totally fucked here, right? So Aaron's question was quite valid. At what point do you give this shit up, move on, and get another job? And I absolutely did not have an answer for him at that time. I just said, I don't know. And it took a couple more months, things getting worse, before they kind of started bouncing back in the right direction. But I can maybe answer it now with a bit of an anecdote, which is that a lot of people, certainly in this field, but in a lot of other interesting fields, they will say things that I used to say a lot. It's that classic line: if I was rich, I would still do this. Well, I don't have a fucking clue what it's like to be rich. But I know exactly what it's like to be broke out of my fucking mind and still do it. To still keep driving forward towards this vision that I have for what it is I'm trying to do with you. Quite literally, with you. And so I discovered something very important about myself that I honestly did not know before that, which was that I don't have the same way of approaching this as I thought I did. If you say that you would keep doing this even if you were rich, what you've just said is that you have a hobby. And that you're really lucky because you get to make money from your hobby, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's certainly something that I imagined that I was doing at one point in my life. Things changed a lot, and I discovered that I don't have a hobby. What I have is a mission. I'm not in this for money, clearly, at all. I was willing to go through absolute financial hell and give up every single thing I owned. I ended up with nothing but a couple boxes of clothes, a computer so that I could still do the online side of this business, and I had, what else did I have? I had like one table, which is kind of silly. Silly to have a table and like nothing to do with it. I didn't know what to do with it. But that was it. That was all I had left. And I kept going because I had in my mind exactly what we have today. I'm not in this to make a bunch of money. What's the point of a story like this? It's not the obvious shit. It's not the just keep on persevering and that's the key to success, right? That's bullshit. That is a crock of shit. Aaron's question was really a deeper one. It's the old question, know thyself. He was asking, what do you really want? Is this what you should be doing? Be clear here, man. I couldn't answer him with words at the time. I just said, I don't know. But I eventually was able to show, which is more important anyway, through my actions exactly what the answer was, and that was that there is no limit. I'm going to keep doing this, no matter what, because it's what I believe in. I'm not really an entrepreneur. I'm an evangelical on a mission. And what that means is that even if it comes down to it, if I got to give up all my money to do this, I'll do it. So it's much nicer to be in that situation, of course, where you're rich and you're doing something because it's fun, and you would do it regardless of whether or not you were rich or middle class. But I'll do it even when I'm dead fucking broke. I want to make the world a stronger place. That's all I really care about. So there's that. That's an interesting lesson in and of itself, I suppose, for me. But what about for you? I think the biggest lesson actually is that I was lucky. This isn't one of those annoying sob stories, because it isn't. I made a choice. I could have quit at any point in time. That was my own personal choice. I kept going. But I was able to push towards this vision I had for a better future for you and I, for Weightlifting Academy, for the whole system of what we're doing, for the community around us, so that every year we keep becoming stronger people and can make the world a stronger place by our presence in it. It's not about the weightlifting, for fuck's sake. It's about really developing beyond that as human beings so that we can help other people do the same thing. I had a lot of people who believed wholeheartedly in me and what I was doing, and that this was the right thing to do. Among them were Aaron and Trevor, who were sitting right there in that room. And they knew what I was doing, why I was doing it. They believed in the same shit. And the whole crew believes in the same shit. And so I was lucky. Not everybody is as lucky as me or as you. as a lot of us. So that's the real lesson to me. The real lesson is that there is help to be had, and you should take it. We have scholarships, and people ask me, and when I say people, I mean other fitness pros, especially people in the fitness blogging world, where a lot of those folk are, I don't want to say they're just in it for the money. That's not true, but they are very much into the money, right? They're into that money. And I don't really relate to that, and so they don't relate to me on this subject. Like, why would I have scholarships? Like, for instance, our new Super Total seminar and certification. It's $500. That makes sense. That's around the normal market price for a certification. But I have a name your own price option for people. It's a scholarship. If you need help and you need to be able to do this, but you seriously cannot make that happen. You're in a position I used to be in, right? I want to be a person who gives you that leg up and says, hey, there are a lot of ways you can pay for things in life with your hard work, your dedication, your passion. It doesn't always have to be with money. I don't want to live in a world where only the rich get richer and everybody else gets fucked, right? Or that old U2 line, the rich get healthy and the sick stay poor. That's stupid. I'm in a position right now where I can help other people to drive towards their goals. I mean, these are people who, you want to do a certification with me. That means you're probably a coach, right? That means you're trying to help other people. If you're out there trying to help other people and I'm going to hold back your education simply because you can't give me an extra couple $100, that's just not me, man. That's not me. So, yeah, I could make more money. I could sell all my shit for substantially higher prices. I could absolutely make more money. But, that's not the point. I need enough money to keep the organization going, but that's what I need. I don't need anything else. I've slept in other places other than beds before, and it's not that bad. There are crazy Hindu gurus out there sleeping on nails, for heaven's sakes. I mean, that's pretty shitty. I'm not doing that. So, the lessons here are, if you have a way to keep going forward towards the thing that you really believe in, and there's people who are willing to help you out, don't let pride stand in your way. Don't let pride stand in your way, man. I did make that mistake. I could have gotten more help than I got. I could have absolutely avoided some of the worst stuff if I had just taken the necessary step, which requires some big old balls of asking for help from the people who can help you. And that was a big thing that I fucked up, quite frankly. And I think a lot of us are in that position. We really do suffer greatly from a tendency towards pridefulness. God forbid you ask people for help when you're suffering. That's hard. That's hard to do. It's really hard to do. So, that's my advice. My advice is ask for help when you need it. Take the help when it's given. Go for it. Do what needs to be done. And if you do that, you might get hit by a bus the next day and you're dead. So I can't guarantee that you're going to have success. In my experience in life, and that's only one among a lot of others that I'll probably tell in time, have some pretty hard shit that's happened to me in my life. If my experiences in life have taught me anything, it's that you actually don't have as much control over the events in your life as you'd like to have. So you had better jump on the opportunities you do have. Because you never know. You never really know. You can do everything right and end up dead fucking broke. Do not waste a second of your life hiding behind the shield of pride. That's a surefire way to get yourself fucked up. The point is that this is just the beginning. We are only just getting started. We are, you and me, can do some damn cool shit in this world. And it all starts by going to weightliftingacademy.com. See, that's obligatory. I gotta say it. I gotta get you to go over to weightliftingacademy.com and sign up for free. There's some good shit in there, man. I got an ebook, got a 5-day how to snatch e-course, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff, including, most importantly, some great people who have their own life lessons to teach you. And let's do it. Let's go and make the world a stronger place. ... Literally. One final word I want to say specifically is thank you, Eric. That's my brother, by the way. He saved my ass, man. FYI, it is fucking cold outside.